Welcome to QA for Sure, a space where we solve real world test automation challenges. Today, we will show you how to handle shadow DOM elements in Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright. So, what is a shadow DOM? Shadow DOM is a web technology used to encapsulate elements and styles, making them inaccessible through the standard DOM. This can create challenges in test automation. In this video, we will explore how to interact with shadow DOM elements using three popular tools, Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright. Let's dig in a bit about shadow DOM. So what exactly it is? So here is a demo website, which is a very good example of what shadow DOM is. So if you inspect this website, you can see there are some shadow roots. There are some elements here which are titled as shadow roots. So inside the shadow roots, you see a combination of CSS and like you see a combination of styles and also the elements. So these kind of elements are practically inaccessible through the DOM. By inaccessible, what I mean is you cannot find these elements through regular XPath and CSS selectors or any other type of selectors. Let's try to do that. Let's try to inspect these elements inside the shadow root and see how it behaves. So under this we have the shop app. Let's try to form a CSS selector. So if it is shop app, it shows 3 matches. Let's add the proper locator, page equals to home, so it's 1. So under this we have the shadow root starts and we have further shadow roots down here. So let's try to inspect the shop analytics tag here, if it allows. So yeah, if I try to inspect it from here, it will not allow. Let's try via XPath. Let's see if it works. No, it doesn't. So, there are some solutions provided with Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright, which we are going to discuss today, to how to access these type of elements through code. So let's first dive into PyTest. Look at Selenium. So I have written this basic Selenium. I've done this basic Selenium setup using Python and Selenium, and we have the basic driver setup and everything. So here, first I try to locate the shop app which we did earlier in the website. So this is the last element that we could find, and after this, so the trick that works here in Selenium is to access the shadow root via JavaScript executor. So you need to execute certain JavaScript to get to the proper shadow root, and when you have access to the shadow root, you can use that shadow root to find child elements inside the shadow root. It's kind of switching to a frame, but yeah, it works like this in Selenium. So this code basically it will print if that the element that we are looking for, which is shop home, inside the shadow root, if it is visible, then it will show as true, or it will show as false. So let's try to execute this test. So it's main.py. So yeah, it printed shadow element is visible, which is true. That's good. So it actually found the shadow element inside the shadow root. So in Selenium, we need to use JavaScript executor for accessing the shadow elements. Next, we have Cypress. So let's switch this to Cypress and check what Cypress has. So yeah, so this is how the Cypress test looks like. So the difference between Cypress and Selenium is that Cypress uses a plugin to access the shadow root elements. The plugin is known as Cypress Shadow DOM. So you need to install it before using it. After you install it, you also have to import it in the commands.js file. So once you import it here, it will become accessible to your test. where you can actually get the shop app element, and then you can call the shadow function to find the child elements inside the shadow root. Let's see if this works. So we'll just npx Cypress run. Let's see if this will execute and it will produce the results. So if it passes, then we are good to go. Oh yeah, so the test passed, so we are good to go in Cypress. So in Cypress, we need to use a plugin known as Cypress Shadow DOM to access the Shadow DOM elements. So this is about Cypress. And next, will have a look into Playwright. So let's switch this to Playwright, and we'll go to tests. So I have just written a index.js file here. So it has a self-executing function which will execute the Playwright test. So here what happens is, so the main difference between Cypress, Selenium, and Playwright is that Playwright actually supports Shadow DOM natively. So it has certain methods which you can directly execute to access the Shadow DOM. So here, if you see in line number 10, you have shadow element. So here we are finding the shop app in the same way as we are finding it for other tools. We are calling this evaluate handle method, which actually executes JavaScript code in the page, and based on the element provided, based on the matching element in the argument. So we have to we just have to call this method and pass that element here, and call the shadow root over here. So once you have that element, you can use that you can use that shadow element, this one, to find the subsequent elements inside the child tree. So this code actually will check if the element is visible, if the element inside the shadow root is visible. So let's try to run the code. We just have to execute it as a node method. So let me go to index.js and try to execute it. So it prints true. So it prints here, it prints a boolean if it is visible or invisible. So yeah, so that is done. So yeah, that is about how 3 different tools handle the shadow root elements in different ways. So to recap, Selenium requires JavaScript executor to handle Shadow DOM. Cypress needs the Cypress Shadow DOM plugin. Playwright offers the simplest built-in solution. Each tool has its own strengths and weaknesses, and the choice depends on your project needs. That's all for me today. This was a quick guide, and I have included the code in a GitHub repo and shared the link in the description. Hope this was useful to you guys. Thank you. See you next time.